They say that breaking up is hard to do. It's been just over 24 hours since the President Trump-Elon Musk friendship and alliance disintegrated into a ball of dust. And now the two men appear to be going through different stages of grief for President Trump. The stage seems to be acceptance. Today he told CNN's Dana Bash in a phone call, quote, "I'm not even thinking about Elon. He's got a problem. The poor guy's got a problem," unquote. And indeed, so far at least, we have not seen another Trump remark or post on social media about Elon Musk. When Dana asked Trump, pardon me, when Dana asked Trump about reports that he was going to have a phone call with Elon Musk, Trump said, quote, "No, I won't be speaking to him for a while, I guess, but I wish him well," unquote. Dana said the president did not sound angry. He sounded resigned. And here's another breakup hallmark. An official tells CNN that the president plans to get rid of that red Tesla that he purchased from Elon Musk in March. He's going to sell it or maybe even give it away. As for Elon Musk, figuring out where he's at in the process of grief, well, that seems more complicated. Last night, he appeared to be in the bargaining stage. He replied to a random user on his X or Twitter platform who said, "This is a shame, this back and forth. You are both better than this. Cool off and take a step back for a couple days," to which Musk said, "Good advice. Okay, we won't decommission Dragon." That's a reference to his SpaceX Dragon spacecraft that yesterday Musk threatened to take away after Trump threatened to end Musk's lucrative government contracts. Let's go now to CNN's political director and Washington bureau chief, David Chalian. Let's take a step back here, David. The richest man in the world is now claiming it was only with his help, his hundreds of millions of dollars, that Trump was able to win last November. That's a shocking thing for him to say. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but it certainly doesn't say anything good about either the role of money in politics or what Bernie Sanders might call the role of oligarchs.
Right. It seems to suggest, right, that Musk is leaning into his ability to influence and purchase election results here, which, by the way, he has a mixed record on. Now, you are right. He spent north of $290 million in 2024 in support of Trump, the single largest individual contributor on the Republican side of politics. But just more recently, Jake, he spent $23 million to try and win a Supreme Court race in Wisconsin and failed pretty miserably at that. So I guess, yes, it says something about money in politics. What I think is clear from them today is that they both kind of, I would say, step back from the brink, but they already went over the cliff there or whatever. So I would say clearly neither side saw advantage today in actually escalating or keeping up that frenetic pace of attacks that we saw yesterday.
The feud also could be consequential for Trump's legislative agenda, the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which obviously extends the Trump tax cuts and includes some spending cuts, especially when it comes to Medicaid. It also adds trillions to the national debt, which is what Musk is objecting to, how it doesn't rein in spending enough. What sort of impact might Musk's opposition to this legislation have, do you think?
Jake, we don't see any sort of votes moving because of that right now. The impact that it's having right now is it's complicating Mike Johnson and John Thune's, the Republican leaders in the House and the Senate, their ability to move this smoothly to a landing. But we don't know of anyone that has said, hey, now that Musk is really on board with fighting against how much money is being spent in this bill or how much it adds to deficits and debts, I'm no longer on board with it. We do find some people who are already aligned with that argument using Musk's sort of spotlight right now on the issue as a way to bolster their argument, but I'm not sure it changes the course of where this bill is likely going, Jake.
All right, David Chalian, thanks so much. Let's bring in our panel now. David Urban, source tells us that President Trump told Vice President Vance to be diplomatic, to speak diplomatically about Elon Musk. Trump seems to be laying uncharacteristically low, almost eerily quiet when you think of the bomb that Musk dropped yesterday on social media saying that Trump is on the Jeffrey Epstein list, which we have no evidence is true. What do you think's going on here? Do you think he just wants to kind of ignore this and just so he can focus on getting the legislation passed?
Yeah, Jake, I think a couple things. One, I don't think Trump wants to deal with this. You're exactly correct. I think President Trump is focused on getting the big, beautiful bill done. There's lots in there that he campaigned on the border, on tax cuts. So many things are hanging in the balance here. Doesn't want to be distracted by what is this incredible sideshow that has become, that started with Elon Musk. Jake, you asked David Chalian if Elon was responsible for his victory. I had a little bit to do with some of these races in 16 and 20 and 24. I can tell you only one person wins or loses these races. It's Donald Trump. And if you think money has that big a deal, has that much to do with it, ask why we don't have a President Michael Bloomberg who spent $500 million in the primary and won, to Kevin Sheeky's chagrin, I think, one delegate. And so, Musk has a lot of huffing and puffing. I think Trump is focused on getting the bill done. I think that I've talked to a couple of Republican senators this afternoon. I think they're focused on it as well. And they're going to get a bill done. The question is it 4th of July or is it right before August recess, in my mind?
Amisha, what do you think?
Well, I think that was a great summation. Nobody in the Senate is moved by what's going on between the Elon Musk and Donald Trump divorce. Donald Trump is taking a page out of his own book, like stay the course, stick to what matters. At the end of the day, he ran on the ideals of what's in this bill. He went out and campaigned on it. He's talked about it. He knocked on doors himself when it came to House members to get them to vote for it. And he doesn't want to see it blow up in smoke. I think that the Elon Musk breakup was something that many of us knew was going to happen, maybe not in this epic fashion, but the president wins nothing by going into that level of a fight with Elon Musk. I think that for him, it is trying to get this by this July 4th deadline, trying to, make sure that the Senate doesn't tear it up more than what he would expect. He knows it's not going to look the same as the one that passed through the House, but he definitely doesn't want it to be dismantled too much. And for Democrats, I think that, they're living high off of the messaging of Elon Musk right now. But again, nobody's votes are essentially changing. Elon Musk being against this bill is the same Elon Musk who was honestly against a lot of the budget to begin with. But we all know that it's because he didn't get the pet projects that he wanted out of it. This is somebody who is bruised. This is somebody who feels as though he bought his way into the White House, bought his way into a certain level of influence with the most influential and most powerful person in the world. And he's upset that he didn't get his way. This is like taking a toy away from a kid. He's throwing a tantrum, and Donald Trump is reeling himself in by maintaining and pushing forward with what matters to him. And that's making sure that his big, beautiful bill gets passed and that, he's not distracted by what Elon Musk is out here doing.
Amisha, let's turn to a separate subject. Hold on one second, David. The Trump administration is apparently preparing to cancel a huge chunk of federal funding for the state of California, multiple sources tell CNN. One source says a whistleblower told Congress that all research grants to the state of California are going to be canceled. What's your reaction?
This is more Donald Trump's war on intellectualism. This is more his war on colleges and universities. We've seen it with Harvard. We've seen it with Columbia. We've seen it with colleges and universities across the board. This is also a war that he is waging against Gavin Newsom, somebody who he has no real relationship with, someone who he doesn't want to see run in 28, and and a state that he has a very huge problem with. We remember on the campaign trail, he castigated California day in and day out. When it comes to research grants and when it comes to research funding, this president has stood by being anti-science. He has stood by being anti-research. That's something that not only he ran on, but is something that he presented during his first time in office. This is a continuation of his cancellation of grants through the Department of Education, his dismantling of the Department of Education, and his dismantling of the efforts in putting America first when it comes to science. That's what he really wants to do. And I think that it's very dangerous because when America doesn't fill that void, China will.
David?
Yeah, so I agree with about 90% of what she says. I don't think Trump's anti-science or anti-anything. I think he's anti-woke. He's trying to reshift that. And back to the big, beautiful bill, Jake, just real quickly. Elon Musk hasn't changed one senator. The only person I've heard express that they're going to vote against the bill is actually Rand Paul. Everyone else says, they have reservations. They're holding their cards close to their chest. But there's only one person who's a no vote to date. And so we still have, this bill's still going to pass as it stands. And I like its chances. I just think, again, we're going to be looking towards more of an August timeframe. And Jake, earlier you talked about Medicaid cuts. I'm not really sure that's exactly correct. Medicaid isn't being cut. The growth is just being slowed. So it's increasing 3% versus 5%. Only in the federal government is a 3% increase a cut.